becoming kind of a distraction, and if not, I will move on. And gentlemen, I'll put the mic on mute for just a few seconds. Sorry, I had to put that on mute. It was becoming. He can take himself off mute at any time if he wants to, but I just found that music to be not the music, but the background noise from the microphone to be a little bit much. So I just put it on mute just for a few seconds. I don't know if he heard me or not. So I just decided to put it on mute for just a second. So, I didn't do that well today. I think I ate too much. And being diabetic, it really messed with me. And okay, so Joe can go off mute at any time. So yeah, it really kind of messed with me. And we have Scott here, High Ridge Estates, and he's one of the types of people that will test my Stoic calm, just due to the fact that he goes by emotion and he handles the manner in which he chooses to handle things is on an emotional state and not an intellectual. Maybe I could be accused of doing the same thing. I was looking at the New York school system. Gosh darn it! Yeah, this principal Paula Levy of Washington Heights school, she wanted to get rid of all of her white teachers. And well, Scott says he doesn't mean to. And sometimes you can improve on that. But yeah, so she wanted to get rid of all of the white teachers. And this person, by the way, comes from the Caribbean. She immigrated to this country, and
she must be one of your favorites.
Well, I find it kind of funny that some of these people who immigrate follow the leftist ideology. They come to a country that it's predominantly one race, mainly one race, and then they come to a country and want to be, I guess either I don't know what the word would be, but they want to have racial solidarity in a country that has less of them, a lot of these individuals from black countries. They want racial solidarity in a country that is predominantly white, and they won't do it back home. And that it's kind of a hypocritical way to kind of look at things. And not much news is on that. And actually, Angela Truth got me that story. And South Africa is becoming a mess right now. And the ADL, by the way, actively has suppressed stories on South Africa. But the main thing I want to get to on that story is I got into a little bit of a conversation, and I don't know how to say her name, but she's a South African. And I asked her, is South Africa a racial vendetta nation? And she says, nope, we don't have time. We don't have that time. I know some spread lies as if crime affects them alone. And the whole ideology here is that it's mainly criminally. It's mainly criminally put out there, and it's not done with any racial animus, which I think is complete nonsense. And the thing is, today, leftism in general is all about envy and ego, and it basically.
Well, while you have those sirens go by, I think I just wanted to drop, just what I was discussing with you earlier about, and to me, it defines so much about leftism in current, and that is just the idea about how the right and Republicans in general, but the right is so anti-abortion, and and the left has this pro-choice stance that easily might be the most disturbing of any stand on any issue on the table. And I was just reading some numbers. 300 million abortions happened in China, a majority being female abortions. And I just find such a duplicitous, disturbing stand that the left takes on abortion and then women's rights. So who truly is against women's rights when you think about the majority of abortions female in China? Hey, you may say, what does the price of rice in China have to do with me? Well, I just I thought that that's an important piece of valuable kind of left and right issue. Both sides are completely insane, by the way. But go ahead. Now that the sirens have left.
I would actually agree with you that both can be insane, but only one side is really allowed to be insane. And again, a lot of things are. I was talking to a gentleman, and I didn't want to get too deep with him, but he produced reality shows, and we went, and he was fairly reasonable, but I didn't push the envelope that hard. But he said it's a lot of, a lot of it's about money, and we talked about leftism in Hollywood, and he said, I guess that's where the money is, but I don't believe that, by the way, because I asked him a question near the end of it, because I talked about the show The Real World, and I said, do you think at any time during The Real World, because it would have gotten a lot of ratings had they had an avid Trump supporter and an avid leftist on the show, would that show have gotten ratings? He said, absolutely. And I said, would they do it? And he said, no. And I didn't jump down him and say, well, my point is, it's not about money. It's about ego, and it's about fanaticism, and the fanaticism that is entrenched in the ego. That's my opinion.
Well, I think you're also missing the factor of control. I think there's an overarching.
That's ego.
I wonder. Okay.
That is ego, and ego. The ego wants to control, and the ego doesn't want to be questioned. And you know what? My thing. I saw my video, but the ego wants to control, and the ego does not want to be questioned.
We do have a lot of handsome people listening today. We got Dennis, the master of rope, and High Ridge Estates so far. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and this is just my opinion that once something gets connected to the ego, and they find that this is their savior. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who find leftism to be their savior belief. They don't want it questioned, and they will stop any. It becomes kind of like a religion to them. And I've seen this with religious fanatics as well, but and political fanatics can be on both sides, but the political fanatics on the left are the ones in control and in power right now, particularly when it comes to messaging and the media, and they certainly do not want to be questioned, and they do not want they don't want to debate. They just want they want to. It seems like they want to stigmatize and punish their opposition, and they're not interested in a conversation. And to me, that's kind of an act of war on somebody when you're, particularly in America that prides itself on due process and things like that. When that's not happening, and I think, I talk to people like on Discord, and people in foreign countries, and they're like, yeah, we know what's going on. I mean, a lot of people, like, they know what's going on. They know the gaslighting. They know that they're trying to spin things in a certain direction. So they know, and they see, everything on there, and they, a lot of them are getting really angry, and they're like, because you can't spin things like this and tell people, like with regards to COVID, with regards to the riots, you can't spin things in a certain direction, and people, and when people see the lies, I think there are two kinds of people: those who believe the lie and those who see right through the lie. And it's hard not to be angry at the people who believe the lies, because it's like, man, I see right through you. I for one know exactly what you're doing, and you're a fanatic, and you don't, and the worst, like I said, the worst thing they do is they get into a little bit of a conversation with me, but then they will not go down the further rabbit hole. And it does anger me. I don't necessarily want to react to it, because then I'll be the bad guy. But it's almost like dealing with a rebellious child that has power. That's what it feels like. I don't know if you have a response to that, Joey, but I'm going to mute off my mic and see if you have one. Joey does not have a response, so I'm going to continue to bloviate. And I'm seeing, let's see, someone made a comment from my Twitter thread.
Sorry about that. No, I'm good. Good. Keep going forward. What's the comment?
Oh, the comment was, for me, I have a problem at times with the elites in power and their behavior. Particularly the ADL bothers me. They tend to be, because I find them to be most hypocritical as I observe it, and they have a lot of power about what goes on. Like, I mean, they are actively involved in internet censorship, thinking that they are doing what is best for the public. And that's not true, Joey. I have a problem with that particular group, and I could go further into that. How I think they're kind of they're kind of hypocritical, but yeah, I have a problem with that group, and and Scott's not a tribesman. Go ahead, Joey.
No. Go ahead. You're going with it. Oh, and look who's here, Angela. Great timing.
Angela, I'll invite you into the platform. Dennis comes in, he'll really destroy my. And Scott, if Scott wants to come in and talk his thing over, I often tell Scott to please move to South Africa, because he told me to shut up about it. So if he thinks it's so great and it's something that should be quieted, and he downplays what's going on there, he should go live there and say, I'm a white person that thinks that South Africa is not so bad, and I will live there, and I will show you all in practice why I tell people like Brian to shut the F up about it, because I want to see people live up to their standards, and you should do a GoFundMe to get that plane ticket and go right to that spot. I think that would be very wonderful. Yeah, there is a surge of violence right now in South Africa. It's and I don't know what he said. I don't know what that means. You two have social issues, or I don't know what they mean by that. But yeah, South Africa, there is violence going on really bad right now. And someone said, do I have an unedited pic? Let me take a look here. Yeah. Anyway. But and as far as my personal life, my diet, my diet was going really well. I'd gotten up at like 4 a.m. to go to work, and I was feeling pretty good because I wasn't eating that much and I was working. And Joey, do you have the Skype number? She wants to call in. If you can flash that on the screen, and we can bloviate just a little bit, maybe, on that. But it is my biggest struggle is personal, and it is primarily my diet and sometimes my lack of work ethic at home. I can be rather lazy, so that is a problem, and I think that's a problem with a lot of people is laziness. And what is 313? What does that mean? I have no idea. There's a person who notable exception. Someone that I'm following on.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, Angela, we can hear you.
I'm calling from the great state of Arkansas, where I had to wear a jacket yesterday. It was so cold. Just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah. It's getting a little chilly here out in Southern California. So, yeah, sometimes.
Well, good, because I thought you were in a heat wave.
Yeah. But you sent me that story about the New York principal. I think I think she's a foreign-born, or parents of foreign-born people. And it shows how much the leftist mindset and the really the pro-black mindset kind of goes, because the guy from Jamaica, and this was about over 20 years ago. The guy from Jamaica, guy born in the West Indies, and shot up people on that railway station, Colin Ferguson. And yeah, he came from Jamaica, and he was very racially conscious there. And then he came to America to shoot people. And it was like,
well, those Jamaicans, they have a chip on their shoulder historically.
Well, again, Jamaica.
And I'm talking about the biracial Jamaicans, or people that were in the system of slavery historically in their family.
Jamaica, the thing is, there aren't any white people in Jamaica to hold them down. They're all black. I mean, most of them, I think 95 to 90%, over 90% of their population is black. And then he's going to come to a country that is majority white, and then he's going to murder whites.
You have to remember, though, in Jamaica there was a lot of pirates. Maybe he's descended from pirates. Maybe that's what happened.
Well,
yeah, I'm sure.
That's a load of crap. Come on, man.
Then,
no, dude, he was just
my maternal grandmother was a James from the Jesse and Frank James family, so you never know.
Come on now, Angela, please. Look. I mean, he was just talking.
No, that's my paternal grandmother's family.
This man was full egocentric, who believed that his who were being oppressed, and he went in and shot up the place. That's just the truth. And you can get I remember I was
I would like to spice this conversation up just a little bit, because usually what happens when you and Angela join minds, things get very disturbing very quickly.
How does it get disturbing? That's funny.
Go ahead.
Joey, that's a silly comment, but that's okay. Some of the things that Joey say I think are silly, but you know what? This is about transparency and merit.
That's right.
People can say silly things that I believe are silly, and Joe thinks some of the things I believe to be are silly. I believe that they are concrete and very mainstream, far more mainstream than what Joey believes.
I have 2 words. We can shut them up with 2 words: flat Earth.
Oh.
We all have differing opinions. We do.
Okay.
And there's different theories out there, and that's okay.
But I'm not a flat earther. I am not a flat earther, though, Angela. I don't know if you've listened to anything I've ever said. But anyways, go on.
For about a year and a half, it sounded like it. But, we all go through our different stages.
I don't think you understand a darn thing about the world that is drawn on an XY axis and animated. So there you go. By the way, I went through this book. I went through this book that Brian's holding. It is a typical science book you may see in a science classroom. And I made tabs in there. You see all those yellow tabs in the pages. And I marked every single thing that's misdescribed or just flat out incorrect. And one day we'll have to go through that again. But
absolutely. That will be.
May be very well true on that, because I used to study curriculum because I taught my children at home, and I had to find good curriculum. And a lot of the science books had been dumbed down, or they're just plain wrong. I mean, could not be more wrong. So I have to agree with JP on this matter.
I just have to wonder how much
the science books.
How much opportunity do young minds have to disagree with their teachers and argue the points? They don't. That's why a lot of our critical thinking skills have not been developed at that stage. And so if somebody goes into a classroom, maybe it's your kid or somebody else's, I know it was for me, a teacher might be talking about something, and at the time I would find it boring. And the reason it was boring, much later in life I had to figure this out, but most likely it was boring because it probably wasn't true to me. And true history always did make a lot of sense. And for as much interest as I had in learning about space, I've learned a whole lot more as an adult on my own time, in my own way. And gosh, I wish I had the ability or the opportunity, the welcomed opportunity by the teachers to go ahead and argue and go counterpoints on some of these topics. But hey, the best we could wish for is for future generations to have that ability.
Well, and like I said, South Africa's a mess right now, and a lot of Indians are being murdered.
The Prime Minister, did you see her video? The Prime Minister, I think it's she's the Prime Minister. There's fear that within the government from the violence in South Africa. Hooligans are taking advantage of, I guess, the protests, demonstrations. I don't know what they're having down there. But I saw some videos. They were real quick. I haven't really listened to each and every one, but I think it's something we need to be aware of. Just like in Cuba, there's an uprising in Cuba, and Nancy Pelosi has put her 2 cents in. I am spinning mad about that. Are you?
Well, I'm kind of upset by the way what happened in how Jen Psaki answered the question. America one time was, very, pro, anti-communism, and we seem to be going in the other direction. And,
for about a generation.
South Africa seems to be a very Marxist, just as Cuba. South Africa seems to be a rather Marxist nation right now. And like I said,
for a moment.
Go ahead.
It's germane to what you're saying. Our Constitution's based on equal justice. In South Africa, their Constitution is based on social justice. And one of the Supreme Court justices, I forget her name, when she went to Egypt, when they had their uprising, suggested that they form their government like South Africa, where it's based on social justice. I think these are things to look at, and I think it makes sense with what you're saying. The justice part.
And the thing is, it's that kind of justice is not necessarily good, and it's like I said, leftism, in my opinion, promotes a lot of envy and just bad things all around. And these people will defend their views, and they're not open to debate. And the ADL, by the way, actively went out and actively strived to get social media and the government not to talk about what was going on in South Africa and the government at large. And we, the thing of it is, when it was through apartheid, we had endless. Our government had endless conversations about what was going on, but because the leftists were so, that was their gold standard, and when it went down, they didn't want to talk about it anymore. And it pisses.
Mandela's wife. Remember Mandela's wife, Winnie? How violent she was. She would put tires, like a
necklace,
and they would put it over a person, like 3 or 4 of them, and then they set the tires on fire. That was their idea. Not to mention Mr. Mandela, who set off bombs at a railroad station, killing innocent children and women. Not to say that the men weren't innocent, but, this is a country steeped in violence. Concluded.
Yeah, it is, and that's why they don't want to debate. That's why they don't want to debate the issue. A lot of it has to do with ego, and because a lot of them were there when South Africa was under apartheid, and they championed the anti-apartheid. And the truth is, they were leftist and they were communist, and we're not doing anything to them. We helped usher in that regime, and now we're not doing anything to question, to question when they get corrupt. And the people who championed it are now being corrupt. It's kind of like the movie Viva Zapata. He's fighting the establishment, and the first time he's questioning the establishment, his name's getting circled. When he's in power and the establishment starts to question him, he's circling. It's like monkey see, monkey do, man. It's like it's so hypocrite. I mean, it's so hypocritical. It's unbelievable. And what can you do? It's like right now the establishment and the hypocrites are in power, and they want they won't let you talk. I mean, and that's the least of my problems as of now. But it does bother me, and it does make me angry.
I hear you.
What
do you think?
Viva Zapata. Go on.
There you go. Thank you. I don't think Joe is very passionate about this issue, and
I am. I'm just in a kind of a different state of mind when it comes to talking about these sort of things.
Say no more. The blong's been out.
I'm not sure what that means.
You're in a different state of mind.
Well, when it comes to these sort of issues, I'm just just not. I feel that.
Well, it does matter.
Well, of course it matters. Of course, everything matters. but I always look towards.
But I'm talking about, the far left, statism, going to that communist style of government. It's starting to take over our world, and it's creeping into our nation. And
creeping in.
Well,
it's been here.
That's one way to say it.
It's been here for quite some time, but we've
since
also
the early 19 teens.
It's been here for a long time.
As a Democrat, I can speak as a Democrat when talking to people that were in the Democratic Party. Well, I'm only here because I can't join a communist party or a socialist party. They would call it by different names. And then those young people that are a little bit older now have formed the Democratic Socialist Group in Tulsa, which is basically a communist group. I mean,
and they stop.
They're everywhere, Angela. We get it.
Communism.
They're everywhere.
During the late 1950s or even mid 1950s, they dropped the word communist and they called themselves progressives. When they call progressives, you got to kind of look under the hood. That's communism right there. And there are people that are being duped by communists as of now. At least it looks that way to me.
Well, just all you have to do is look at what science has done, and they've guaranteed us better living through chemistry, nuclear power, too cheap to even register and meter properly, pharmaceutical drugs that have, in the long-term results, have not fared very well, and then in place of of nature's medicine cabinet, we get these ridiculous drugs, and not to mention the Franken food, the GMO corn, the cloned salmon. The list goes on and on and on. And who's promoting science? I guess that's not even a left issue. That's a left and right issue. That's why I hate to get into little beefs with left and right, because both of them are on the wrong side of science. They're on the wrong side of man and nature. They are all a bunch of greedy pieces of shit. But let's go on with that.
Man, never a truer statement has come from you before.
Oh, thank you.
That is a very true statement.
Now, High Ridge Estates, Scotty McScottawful, wants us to talk about buck breaking, and I think buck breaking is such a
about what?
Oh, okay. Tariq Nasheed has a documentary now. He's done all these documentaries. Yeah. The guy's the biggest narcissist I think to ever come down the pike, and now he's doing one on buck breaking, and it's the same thing with the what is it? The same thing with what is it?
Isn't there a trailer for that?
There may be a trailer, yeah. But I was going to say it's the same thing. I don't want to even show the trailer because I don't want YouTube to ding. If YouTube dings us, I want it to be for something important. But I wanted to say that, okay, it's the same thing as the Willie Lynch letter. It's Willie Lynch basically, in the mainstream media still goes on the whole thing of Willie Lynch. The thing was the letter was found in 1970. When after all the Black Power stuff and all this kind of boogie baloo about white supremacy and the system of and the systemic racism, this was all it was promoted in the 50s, but it really gained ground in the late 1960s, and then in the 70s, someone found a Willie Lynch letter. It's all a bunch of crap, just a bunch of crap, and just a bunch of psychobabble nonsense. But it is what it is.
I'm really curious about this trailer.
Oh, you want to look at this? Okay.
I haven't seen this before, and maybe we could watch a couple minutes of it. I just want to see what it's about.
Do you think that'll bring a strike, though?
No, it's a trailer.
Okay. Well, hope not.
No, it's his dream to have this trailer pushed.
Yo, what's going on? This is Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to TZ, Von Savage, and Jay Lava. I missed you guys the other day. The new Bug Breaking movie is out, but shout out to you, brothers, man. I want to send a congratulations.
I don't want to have him on too long because we can get striked. And Tariq Nasheed is a known narcissist, egotist of the worst kind. He one time said, as far as sexuality is concerned, he would wave the flag of Europe in the bedroom. He's a complete egocentric, narcissistic buffoon. And
Wow.
I really want nothing to do with that guy. And if I wouldn't care if the possibility of a strike coming on me. I don't want to earn a strike because of that. But buck breaking. It's a big fat lie. I think it's not, African male rape. Yeah, it's all a bunch of hugabaloo. Scott may push that idea.
No, I'm asking because I can't hear well. Buck breaking. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, BUCK.
Seriously?
Well,
you did a documentary on that?
Well, it's also the same as
maybe
butt
that
breaking.
happened. Maybe that happened, but it didn't happen often. I mean, come on. They had such a low opinion of African Americans that were enslaved at the time. I can't. Concluded.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of propaganda out there with this. I never even heard it. I've heard it mentioned.
It's inflammatory. I've heard of it.
Yeah,
but
I don't know much about it.
It only happened in a few places, and then people talk. Did you hear what they did? Come on. I did.
And it could, it could be true, but it sounds like a bunch of crap. It just sounds like a bunch of.
That trailer's not worth your spit. It's not worth it. Because it's not real. It's fake. That is completely fake. If they're going to make it sound like that happened often in the South, no, it did not. And hello, they had slaves in the North too. Why don't they look up there? Sorry.
Well, yeah, they won't get into that.
Not only that, it's something that I think is grossly overblown, and I'd like to see the evidence on that because again, Tariq Nasheed, he did a debate one time with Jared Taylor, and he got completely destroyed. So he's not a legitimate. Jared, what's that?
Do you have a link to that? That would be good to watch as a group and, get some popcorn and watch him get destroyed. That would be beautiful. Just beautiful. Kind of like how we watch sumo and we talk in a chat room.
Yeah, we might do that. We might do that like on a different channel to do that because
or Rumble. Maybe we could do that on Rumble. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, Rumble allows it.
That would be fun.
It really does suck. That it really does suck. Oh, I think High Ridge Estates got back. Not High Ridge Estates. 7 Kings, 8 Debs got back to me, and he was. I'm just.
How's the chat room doing?
The chat room's doing okay. I'm looking
to hear Dennis or see him typing. So I understand he just got moved. Congratulations.
Yes, he is. He is moved.
That is good.
It sounds like a good move. It
for a while.
Sounds like a little confusion of where he'll sleep, but yeah, it's good for Dennis to get moved.
Well, he's got to unpack. Goodness. He needs to unpack.
Dennis, you will be sleeping on the floor. I'm sorry to tell you. There was no bedroom plan for
Don't
you.
say that. You can at least get an air mattress. I have a lot of floaties over here.
Well, go ahead and send him a floaty.
got one that looks like a bunch of bananas. That one's fun. I'm just glad it's warm enough to swim today.
Brian, are you here?
I am here. I'm looking at my. This thing is filled with replies, and I'm just gathering through it. I think I gotta go to the.
The chat.
Not the chat room. I'm looking at my. I'm actually looking at my YouTube, and I could. You know what? I can do this right now. I can do.
Do they have any questions or comments?
There was. Gosh darn it! Look at this crap. It just pisses me off.
It's good for them to feel included.
It sure does.
I'm sorry, that was a joke to little people.
See, no one made a comment though. They just pointed out a like. The guy didn't comment back to me because certain people get me angry who live in certain areas, and then the manner in which they choose to complain. I'll go into that later. Why, certain individuals piss me off, and they piss me off a lot just because I find their lifestyles to be really And the master of rope said it happened a lot. That's why black people are homophobic. Dude, no. I don't. You know what, dude? I don't believe that. I don't believe that garbage.
I mean, it could be.
No. But you know what, dude? I mean, slavery was bad, but this idea that buck breaking was common and this and that, I don't know. You know what? I have to examine it more. But anything that comes from Tariq Nasheed or the pro-black diaspora, I'm suspect because they lie all the time. Same thing. Anything that comes out of the left, they lie. They lie all the time. They gaslight and they lie all the time, and they're hypocritical.
I won't say they lie all the time, but I will say they are deceitful more often than not in this day and age.
Gaslighting, and one of the things that angers, and I'm trying, I'm really doing my best to do the Stoic calm thing, but gaslighting and hypocrisy are things that abusers do, and leftists do that a lot, and and your Afrocentric people do that a lot. I mean, before your Afrocentrist wanted to be away from white people. Today, it seems like they don't want to be away; they want to control and tell them what to do, and that does because I don't want to be. I don't want to tell them what to do, but I don't want them to tell me what to do either. Go away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me what to do, and I don't tell you what to do. Don't take your control freak ways elsewhere. But unfortunately, that's the thing you got to deal with nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So. It is what it is. Now, Joey, I'm going to have to use the restroom pretty soon.
Pleasure being on your show. I'm going to leave.
Okay.
So my signal's getting worse. So it was a pleasure being on your show. And I guess that's it. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. Joey, anything to add before we end this show?
No, let's close it down and make sure you go to transparencyandmerit.com.
Like, subscribe, subscribe, even leave a comment down below, and even share this video. Even if you hate this video, you got any Twitter, Facebook, anything like that, share this video and, say why you think this person is awful or why you think Brian is awful. And again, I'm always striving to not be angry and improvement. And I don't think today I really succeeded in not being angry and not having my spirit calm. The situation in South Africa and the behavior of the way people handle it really did anger me. So I wasn't my best, but there's always tomorrow. And my diet was really crappy today too. So although I didn't eat any sugar, I ate too much. Anyway, like, subscribe. leave a comment down below. Thank you for listening.